does Yunnan's Code of Life begin? Water has nurtured thousands of lives. About 500 million years ago, a wide variety of creatures appeared here, which became one feature of Earth's life evolution. The billion-year ocean and land movement has created a biodiverse home with an altitude gap over 6,600 meters, thus creating the Code of Yunnan. At an altitude of 4,500 meters, in the remote and frigid alpine zone, there is still a miracle of life. Scientists travel thousands of miles only to witness a special cooperation between life. In the highlands, where pollinators are scarce, giant alpine room provides shelter for Bradisia with its body. In return, the Bradisia will pollinate. You offer me a place. I facilitate you to propagate. This is cooperation for life. In the extreme environment, species are interdependent and compete with each other. This is their code. The sharp rocks and thin air constitute forbidden areas of human beings, but also a happy place for some to flourish. They belong to the home of Yunnan. They are the elves of this primeval forest. At one time, human activities have harmed their life code.
Male tree moving, the juvenile tree feeding. Male tree moving.
People began to track them in the past 30 years. They walked an extremely long way among wilderness and the forest to study the life code of Yunnan snub-nosed monkey. They need to live in primeval forests, over 3,000 meters above sea level. And each family needs over 100 square kilometers of space to move and feed. We shall restore their home. We shall respect their code. This forest has been protected forever. To protect cherished and endangered species, 362 nature reserves have been established in Yunnan. Yunnan is not only the home of flora and fauna, but at their feet is the kingdom of fungi. The code of land is in the life of the fungi. The abundance of scarcity of fungi determines whether the soil is rich or poor. The code of the highland lakes sinks and flows with the botia, which is the touchstone for water quality. Young is dancing to interpret living beings with her whole life. The Irhai Lake is one of the 9 highland lakes in Yunnan. The clear water was once the homeland of the botia. the expansion of cities and towns is hard for Irhai Lake to stand, and the sensitive Botia once disappeared. People realize that the ecological restoration of the lake calls us to step back and take care of it. The Botia finally blooms again. But the protection of highland lakes never stops. Yunnan is a paradise for birds, but once someone hurts them, when hunters put down their shotguns, bridging the rift between man and bird. Not only the birds that survive here, but also the birds that migrate can fly through in peace. The awakening of people began to explore the code of birds and weave a paradise for them. Yunnan is a treasure trove of world's orchid resources. Some people have made conservation of orchid a lifelong pursuit and have established homes for thousands of wild orchids. However, in Yunnan, the kingdom of biodiversity, the protection of thousands of species, does not only depend on individuals. This cold world is the largest germplasm bank of wild species in Asia, where nearly 100,000 seeds sleep. These lives, waiting to awaken, determine the future dreams of human beings. To protect them is also to protect the survival code of human future. The search for the code of the Asian elephant is an exploration that has lasted for 3 decades. Five years ago, with the help of drones, someone began to use technology to escort Asian elephants and issue safety alert for people. Despite the difficulties, the exploration has never stopped. About the coexistence code of human and nature. Our ancestors had plain wisdom. In the terraces of the Hani people, they do not take endlessly, but coexist with the earth and the heaven, and live with all things. In the tea forest of the Jingmai people, a cup of tea has shaped the life of people and nourished their natural spirit. A blueprint of a better future life for people is built on a rich biodiversity. This blueprint is grand and humble. It carries both Chinese wisdom and the future of the world's ecological conservation.